Hi everyone, back to the more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. Boy, howdy stuff has been going on behind the scenes, has it not? We've heard from the PIF, we've heard things about being best in class, and there's also some breaking news about Manchester City's potential early signs of them being able to win this court case against the Premier League. So it's all kicking off. Let's start with Newcastle United and the PIF. So there's a story doing the rounds by Mark Douglas, and it's all about the PIF wanting to be best in class, is what Yasser Al-Rumayyan has said. Every part of the football club wants to be best in class. Paul Mitchell is currently undertaking kind of a football audit of every single possible element of the football club, you know, from the first team to the women's team to the academy, probably the way the tea ladies leave biscuits out and shit like that, to make sure we're best in class. So hopefully there'll be nice biscuits next time we go to St James's Park in the press conference to you journalists, lads. Maybe Craig Hope might get a ginger biscuit if he's not too careful these days. I don't want to joke, I love you, Craig. But yeah, going back to this point in question, it's an interesting one. So, you know, a lot of people are excited about it, of course, because PIF look like they're reiterating their ambition to make Newcastle United number one. You know, they said that in the Amazon documentary, wanted to be number one. You know, we qualified for the Champions League way before time, and we thought that would accelerate that ambition with capital spend. Obviously, FFP and PSR have restricted that. The Manchester City court case could very well change that, which we'll come on to in a second. But going back to the whole question about being best in class. Now, there is a bit of a line out of this. That I suppose you could look at it two different ways. You could say it's understandable or it's concerning. So apparently, Eddie Howe has been told that it's Europe or bust, really. He's been targeted with European football this season, and if we don't achieve European football, then the manager could potentially be changed at the football club. Now, that's kind of normal for football clubs that are chasing Europe, I suppose, but I've got a little bit of an umbrage with that one, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's okay saying best in class and targeting the manager to finish in European places. I get that. But you haven't really backed him in the transfer window. You know, yes, I know Paul Mitchell just started, you know, the whole thing with Dan Ashworth, but, you know, we sold two really talented young players. So in my opinion, would have broken to the first team this season and probably would have been mainstays. Certainly, I think Yankuba Minteh on that right-hand side, because we were desperate for a player out there. You know, we sold those two players. The players we brought in aren't particularly great. I know Vlachodimos just looks like it was a bit of a, fucking buy one, get one free, I suppose, with the Elliot Anderson deal to balance the books. Osala has barely had game time. You know, John Ruddy's 46-year-old, whatever it is. So they're not particularly great signings, you know. And Eddie wanted one player in particular. He wanted Mark Gahey. And yes, Steve Parish kept changing the goalposts. And yes, Steve Parish is a prick, as I said on numerous occasions. But why didn't the football club back Eddie with the guy that he wanted? And why didn't they, discuss viable options for the same figure? That's what I want to know. What happened in the transfer market? Who's to blame for signing no real first team starter players? Is it the board or is it Eddie Howe? We still don't know the answer to that question. But it's all fine and dandy putting the manager on the spot and saying you've got to get Europe, mate, or you might be out of a job. But you've got to back him in the transfer market. That's my point. If you haven't backed him in the transfer market, it's very hard to judge him at the end of the season and say he hasn't qualified for Europe because he might not have had the players at his disposal that he would have wanted. But, it'd be interesting to see what happens in January. There's a lot of threat and a lot of noise from this board. And all I hear is noise at the moment. Actions speak louder than words, lads. I'm going to reserve my judgment on this lot until January. If they fucking fail in the January transfer window, then all bets are off. But that then leads us to the Manchester City court case. So the news here that Manchester City have been successful, I think, and an early kind of charge that they felt was unlawful, and it was actually to do with football clubs being able to get sponsorship, I think, from within organisations that they've got ties to, or they're in the same countries or everything else. Something that the Premier League almost looked like they grew in a lab to fuck Newcastle United and the PIF over. Now, it looks like City are going to get their way with that, which is going to have massive implications to how that's enforced with other football clubs like ourselves, like Aston Villa, who have got wealthy owners and aren't scared to splash the cash. They're just not allowed to because of the PSR and FFP, beg your pardon, I think I'm getting a head cold here, I'm struggling a bit, guys, bear with me. So, yeah, I think this will have massive implications. If Manchester City do win something and take the cuffs off, then Newcastle could maybe spend big in the January window, maybe get 2 or 3 proper first-team players, help Eddie Howe get that European position, and then go big in the summer if the the kind of restraints are loosened a little bit. So that'll be a really interesting one to watch. We've always said that about the Man City court case. We're going to find out, I think, towards the end of this season, is it, whether they're going to be found guilty or not. I think they will have some kind of punishment, but it'll be so minimalistic, whether it's financial or points deduction, that they'll make it back either financially or on the football pitch, because they're a very good side. But it's the impact, it's the consequence, it's the domino effect of what it would do to Newcastle United that is massive for all of us, and we're all waiting for it. I know people are already rubbing their hands together, splashing the cash. It's not quite that easy yet, but let's hope that Manchester City do get one over in the Premier League, because it will give us more chance to spend. But going back to this whole best in class thing, I'm still very much on the fence about Paul Mitchell. He does come with good pedigree. There was obviously a button of heads between him and Eddie Howe. There's no doubt, there's no getting away from that. You can denigrate whichever journalist wrote the piece, but it was pretty obvious that's what happened. There's talk about clear the air talks between Eddie Howe and Mitchell, which can only be good for the football club, because we need that shit to disappear so we can concentrate with getting it right on the pitch. We're still in a good league position despite getting battered by Fulham. City's up next, be a tough game. It's the performance probably we're more looking for than the actual result in this game, as crazy as that sounds. There's news of Anthony Gordon potentially having a contract breakthrough, which would be brilliant, because he needs to get his head back in the game. All this talk about Liverpool. So loads of stuff going on. We'll be keeping an eye on the guys at Evermore as always. If this is the kind of thing you like, smash like, subscribe, help the channel grow, help get us to 9k. We've got a mint prize to give away for a 9k, the Retro McEwen's blue shirt. Could be yours if you help get us there and then enter the prize draw video. We'll be back with some more content soon. Back for a City preview and a post-match analysis of that game of the weekend. Let's hope we're not crying when we're talking about it live in the chat, guys. We'll have a belter wherever you are. Best in class. Let's hope so. We need some best in class players through the door if we're going to get there. Have a belter. See you later. Cheers.
Hey!